This is episode 102 of Pinnacle FC. Gareth Wheeler, Jake Osgathorpe with you. Plenty to get to in a quick turnaround, so we're going to try to dive right into this because today is the day we're on to the third and final match day of the group phase here at the FIFA World Cup. Please subscribe to this podcast. We're over 9,000 subs. Let's get to 10,000. We can do it, people. We can do it. We appreciate all the comments and your picks and plays and thoughts on our picks and plays as well as we move through the World Cup with a level of success. I gave about a unit back, but still in profit for the World Cup thus far. Jake Osgathorpe is on fire, as always, just doing what he does, giving you the proper picks and plays each and every match day. How are you feeling through 2 match days at the World Cup, Jake?
Tired.
It works for me living in North America. Like this is like the perfect World Cup. Afternoons and evenings, they're booked, they're full. Now you're experiencing what we and the rest of the world typically experience watching European football.
Yep. Yeah, it's no fun. I'll give you that. Especially when you have to stay up and watch England-Ghana. I mean, that was a poor choice to stay up and watch that. But yeah, at least the punting's been productive. Quite a few winners.
I was going to say you were gonna regret that. But anyways,
yeah,
I'm sure my material is going to get better over the course of the show. It's got
Certainly
to.
Hope so. Yeah.
Yes.
But we were just chatting before we recorded. The heat over here is something else. These last few days, it's been so hot. So all of that's just piling on. And then obviously, there's just no break either. We're used to getting a break from the group stage to the last 16, but straight into the 32 after this. But yeah, can't complain. I mean, you'd rather have more football than less.
Shout out to you, the old school Real Madrid kit. That is absolute class if you're watching on YouTube. If so, let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you're just looking for the podcast, if you're just listening, thank you as well. Apple, Spotify under Pinnacle Podcast. We venture forward. All the markets that we use are courtesy of Pinnacle. Head over to pinnacle.com. It is a home of sharp betting. Bet smart. Bet Pinnacle. The best odds on market. Pinnacle were the only market that was giving plus money for a Lionel Messi goal in the last game. He scored twice against Austria. It is a World Cup of stars. Messi, Mbappe, Holland, Cristiano Ronaldo's now joined the conversation. It's making what is a very good World Cup from a watchable perspective, from a goals perspective, even that much better, Jake. Just before we get into our picks and plays for the next round of the competition, what are your thoughts on the overall play, trends that you're seeing, and overall feel and vibe?
Yeah, I mean, my first thought is that FIFA have kind of ruined things with the head-to-head switch in terms of the tiebreaker, because it means that groups are locked up where, or certain spots are already locked up, whereas in World Cups past they wouldn't have been. There would be an opportunity for maybe goal difference to be made up, but with head-to-head it doesn't really matter. It's meant for a few more dead rubbers than usual. Having said that, we do have a lot of third place places still up for grabs, which means there is still a little bit of jeopardy. But even that, I think, I mentioned it on the previous show around Paraguay and Turkey, that if Paraguay got a win, smash the draw for this Australia game, and people have followed suit. I mean, what is it, plus 121 now for the draw in that game. I have a feeling that there's quite a few people that will be building draw accumulators or draw parlays with the games where a point suits both, really. So I've obviously made a note of them all, but I might be opposing a couple of those selections just based on how the bracket is shaping up. And at the very bottom of the Matchday 3 slate, there is one game in particular that is very interesting in the sense of Algeria, Austria, and the potential ramifications of second and third in that group.
Yep, I marked that as well. That's the thing. We'll get a better picture of what that draw looks like, and I think it'll more affect the games later on in the week, where there could be various ways to go on and approach this. Okay, let's get into our analysis for the games this week. We're just going to go through the remaining group stage game and what it means for the round of 32 as well. We'll be back next week with episode 103 on Monday to look ahead to the round of 32 fixtures, because they start on Sunday, actually. But it's just a one game on Sunday, so we'll venture forward on Monday and try to bring you up to speed as best as possible. We're recording this bright and early Wednesday morning, my time, just past noon where Jake is in Manchester. And there's 6 matches to be played today. Group A, Group B, and Group D. So let's dive into them. Starting off with, well, I guess we start in Group B sequentially. They're the early fixtures, which is a little bit odd as well, because they're 3 p.m. games where I am, noon local games in Seattle and Vancouver, respectively. It's Bosnia and Herzegovina taking on Qatar, both still mathematically alive to potentially qualify for the next round of the competition. That is despite Qatar being smashed by Canada 6-0. It was like a no contest, no moss. It was like getting into the ring with Mike Tyson, where you're like, no more, no more. And it's Canada and Switzerland, a battle atop the group as well. How do you think that this may play out today, and any picks or plays from these 2 Group B fixtures?
Yeah, I have plays in both of them. I think starting with the group decider, I think it can't be stressed enough how important it is for either team really to win the group, because not only do they get to stay in Canada as co-hosts, that would be hugely positive, but the rest advantage compared to finishing second is like ridiculous. If you finish second in this group, you're playing again on the Sunday. You're the first round of 32 game. If you win the group, you don't play until the following Thursday. So that's a huge rest advantage you would have on your potential opponents, and obviously turnaround time in terms of finishing second and playing again on the Sunday. So that's one thing that definitely has to be factored in. Obviously, Canada would love to stay in Canada for that round of 32 game. I think that if you finish runner-up, you move over to LA. So, I just think
probably play South Korea as well, which will be a heavy influence of Korean fans that will be in that game in Los Angeles as well. Sorry, carry on, Jake.
Yeah, no, I mean, in terms of the actual opponent, it's not like catastrophic whether you finish first or second, but in terms of like I said, the rest time and the location, it could be quite important. But yeah, I just think that Switzerland are a better team than Canada, and I think that we saw them go through the gears late on against Bosnia once they tied them out, and I just think Canada are probably the best, the team that Switzerland will look forward to facing the most in terms of stylistically, because Canada will be a little bit more open. They will try. Obviously, they don't need a win. A draw would be enough from the goal difference. But I think that this Switzerland team have got more than enough to make a bit of a statement here and win. I think plus 143 is a bit too big of a price, to be honest. And you're going to have Manzambi hopefully coming in from the start as well, which adds a little bit more energy in forward areas and an extra goal threat. So yeah, I like the Swiss at the prices. And then Bosnia, they're 1.25 goal head start on the handicap. They're strongly fancied to beat Qatar, who have been the worst defensive team in the competition. One thing that did catch my eye was how bad they've been from set pieces, and also how good Bosnia are from them. So yeah, they've conceded 1.5 xG from set pieces at this World Cup alone, Qatar, including a goal. And Bosnia scored a goal, obviously, from a set piece against Canada. They scored 5 in 10 qualifying games as well. And I just looking at the prices, I think Nikola Katic for a long shot at plus 800 to score any time is worth backing. Yeah, he's a bit of a giant at the back for Bosnia, and I do think they'll get more opportunities to get the ball in the box from corners and free kicks in this game than they have in the previous 2.
Yeah, it also seems like a game like Edin Dzeko didn't play the first game, played a little bit last match. Qatar's really bad, like really bad. I just starting with the Bosnia game. People will say, well, Qatar drew Switzerland in that first game. That game was played like midday. It was like very hot, very dry. The game really slowed down, and Switzerland had multiple chances to put that away. They were getting up to close to 4 expected goals in that game and just couldn't finish their breakfast. And Qatar stole one at the end. Weird things happened in the opening match. It was like back to usual business in the second match. And they're playing in Seattle, which It's still outside, but it's not very hot there. So and the heat really affected Bosnia, by the way, in both games that they played in as well, where they slowed down late. I just think the game will be out of reach, out of touch by that time. I just like Bosnia to win to nil. I understand what you're saying about Qatar defensively, but they offer like next to nothing going forward in attack as well. Both teams to score, no, and Bosnia to win at plus 149. That seems to be a great number to get to back. And I agree with your assessment on Switzerland. Like Canada's press and their ability to play at pace and speed is their superpower. But I think that Switzerland, based on the players that they have in their team, will be able to comfortable playing through it. Canada are very unstable at center back. 20-year-old Luke DeFougerel is playing alongside Derek Cornelius, who didn't play any football at Rangers over the course of the last half of the season. There wasn't a real threat. Žeko didn't play for Bosnia and Herzegovina. Demirovic missed like basically a breakaway in that game. I just think there'll be a real threat with Breel and Bolo, and they'll have their hands full. So I'm just approaching it a bit of a different way. Switzerland team total over 1.5 at plus 144. All right, the next two group games that are being played is Group D. It's the Brazil-Morocco group. Brazil taking on Scotland, who are still mathematically alive. Haiti is out. They are going home. Haiti faces Morocco. Two games where there's a pronounced favorite in both, as Morocco and Brazil are playing to win the group. The question is, where do you prefer to land? Do you prefer to win the group, or do you prefer to finish second place? That's a great debate. Both play inferior competition. How are you looking at the markets in the way that this may play out?
Yeah, it's. I mean, Brazil are obviously in the driving seat because they've got the goal difference advantage of +2 heading into the last round of fixtures. But they also have a slight disadvantage in the sense that Scotland probably realistically need a point to guarantee themselves safe passage as a third place team. Because if they lose to Brazil even by one goal, even if it's one goal, they're going to finish with a -1 goal difference and 3 points. And by my calculations, that won't be enough. Given the amount of teams, or given what I expect to see over the rest of the match day, and the amount of teams that are sat on 2 points after 2 draws, that if they draw one more, they're going to be 3 points with a 0 goal difference, which will better Scotland. So I do think that Scotland needs to get a point. I think that could cause problems for Brazil, in the sense of they're going to be really difficult to beat. They're going to try and sit back and make life very difficult for them. At the same time, there is still Brazil haven't been convincing, and there is still a chance that if Scotland win, they obviously finish above Brazil in the group and don't have to deal with third place stuff. And I honestly would not put it past them, because I think that the way in which Scotland plays is well suited to dealing with Brazil, in the sense that they are, they play deep and they spring, and they were very good in that second half against Morocco. And Morocco are tired, and they don't have the players off the bench like Brazil do to kind of keep that sustained pressure. But yeah, I give Scotland half a chance. I don't have a bet in that one. Morocco, we've seen them twice start very, very fast. And I think that could be a way in again. I mean, you're looking at Morocco -1 on the first half handicap at +113. That definitely makes appeal. So we'd need them to be 1 up at half time to get our money back, 2 up, and we get a full winner. It wouldn't be at all surprising. I mean, they flew out the blocks against Brazil, scored after 21 minutes, obviously scored after 2 minutes against Scotland. And then they did seem to tire after about an hour in the second half. And like I said, they don't seem to have the quality to come off the bench and keep those levels up. So I think if they want to rack up a score, they're going to have to do it early against the Haiti side. And look, they're going to have to probably win 3-0, at least match what Brazil did, and then just hope that Scotland either get a result or Brazil only beat them by one goal. And then what the hell would the tiebreaker be in that occasion if they both finished on the same goal difference, the same goals scored, the same head-to-head? Would it be fair play? I think it'd probably be fair play.
Yeah, but that's inevitably what it goes down to, just in terms of the tiebreaker. I just don't think that we're going to see that scenario. I think Morocco is going to apply the pressure, and it's 2 goals on the handicap. Look, Haiti's done well. I think they're a better side than what I've previously seen covering CONCACAF football, by going up against heavyweights like Brazil and Morocco. Like Brazil was up 3-0 at halftime, and they just completely took their foot off the gas. Like they just it was just a no contest. If Haiti scores a goal in this one, I think it would be a big deal for the country. And I think there could be goals because they're wide open. -3 for the total. It could trump that and then some. I think Morocco -2. I know it's like a very straight, it's very chalk play, but -105. I think it's worth a nibble just based upon Morocco trying to take control of the group. I think it could happen. Haiti plays wide open. By the way, shout out to Jay. Carlin's Arcus is a foul machine and picked up a card early. It was his recommendation on the last podcast. I think he picked up a caution within the first 3 minutes of the match. So well done to you. And I've been trailing you for my other picks and plays elsewhere. Carlin's Arcus fouls as being a beautiful thing to do. Same thing. Brazil to win to nil was at +106. I just think that Marquinhos and Gabriela being really, really good for Brazil. Rafinha is out, so it looks like Ryan's going to come in. I just think that the structure of Brazil will frustrate a Scotland side just in terms. They might be a little bit desperate, but I just don't see goals in the Scotland side. But the number's being pushed out to -108, so it's just a range where I'm not really interested in getting involved with. So a hard pass for me as well. Group A, it's the Spider-Man meme to Group B. Neither group is very good. They're both pointing at one another and say, what about you? And there's ramifications where both, the second place team from Group A plays Group B. Mexico's already clinched the group, one of 4 teams that have already advanced and know where they'll be finishing first place thanks to the head-to-head rule change. It's Mexico, Germany, United States, and Argentina. So it's a dead rubber for Mexico as they take on Czechia, who have real ramifications in this game and are hoping maybe to take advantage of a rested and rotated Mexico side. Still, Mexico are still taking some money in. It's shifted out from -110 to -103 for Mexico to win outright. They're obviously a difficult team playing on Mexican soil. And South Africa are going home, but South Korea probably aren't. And it's a big game for them to potentially come away with a result, finish second place, and play that game, like I said earlier, in Los Angeles against the runner-up from Group B. What do you make of Group A, Jake? It's not a very compelling group, but there could be 2 compelling games based upon Czechia and South Korea and where they find themselves right now. South Korea did beat Czechia, so they're going to need South Africa to do them a favor if Czechia wants to finish runner-up in the group.
Yeah, look, South Africa is still alive as well. That late penalty. Oh. Yeah, that late penalty means they're on 1 point. So if they beat South Korea, they actually leapfrog South Korea. So that's going to be a really good game to watch because South Africa are going to have to throw the kitchen sink. You would imagine South Korea obviously a point does them, and yeah, a point would guarantee second place. So it's going to be interesting to see how South Korea kind of approach it. I just thought the kind of sensible play was just to back the returning red card man, Yaya Sitole, to pick up another card at +240 for South Africa. Yeah, he had an absolute mare, didn't he, in the first game? And look, he's going to be in and around Heung-min Son, Lee Kang-in, who are obviously very tricky players anyway. But then you factor in that South Africa are still alive. They're going to have to perhaps overexert in attacking areas. It might leave him exposed in that deeper role. Maybe a couple of cynical fouls here or there. And we've got a good referee for cards as well. So I'm going to be backing Sitole to grab a card. And yeah, you mentioned Mexico's numbers shifted. I'm still buying the Mexico stock at -103, even if they rotate, because this Czechia team are rubbish. And the thing that they have to battle with is not only Mexico's home field advantage with crowd, etc., but they're going to be playing at altitude in Mexico City. And this Czechia team are not built for that kind of exertion. And especially when they're going to be the ones that have to chase the game and they have to get a result. I think Mexico, whether they make changes or not, are going to pick them off quite comfortably and have just a little bit too much pace and dynamism for them. So -103 for Mexico to win. And look, the bottom line, they're playing in front of their home fans. They're going to want to put on another good performance and carry some more momentum into that next round and grab another win. So yeah, I just thought -103. Like if this was Matchday 2, Mexico would be -150, -155. But because Czechia need to win and Mexico might rotate, that's why you're getting the boosted price. So yeah.
They'll rotate. Jimenez won't start, but Jimenez will come in, and there'll be some rotation between any player that's on a card just won't play. But they're deep enough. Look, I just don't want anything to do with Group A. A for au revoir. I'll see you later on. I have no interest getting involved in whatever that mess will look like later on tonight. All right, let's move on to the Thursday fixtures. It's the Ecuador, Germany, Curacao, Ivory Coast group. Curacao picking up a point against Ecuador. Like, Ecuador is elite when it comes to their defensive metrics across qualifying. They just cannot score a goal. Watching them attempt target practice, it's a tough watch. Now they take on a German side that stole a late win against Ivory Coast. We're probably second best for most of that match. I was at that game in Toronto last week. It was a brilliant game of football. Ivory Coast has something about them. Don't have the depth of Germany, and Dennis Undav came on and scored a brace in the late winner. So Germany, despite already winning the group, minus 116 to win. Ecuador pushed out to plus 280. Curacao, Ivory Coast. It's Ivory Coast just wants to finish their business there, and it should be rather straightforward. It's just about how you want to approach that game. When you look at this group, what do you make of these two fixtures? Can Ecuador put their foot to the pedal and get something here against Germany, or are they that anemic at just an attack that they could be dumped out at the group stage here? I mean, they were a dark horse for many teams coming into, or many people, I should say, coming into this tournament, Jake.
Yeah, including me. Obviously the Curacao one is the draw. That's a bitter blow for them, really, because if they'd have won that one, then them and Germany probably shake hands on a point each and just kind of move on in this game. So it does put a lot of pressure on them. Looking at it, the fact that they need to win probably hasn't been factored into the market as much as it should have. At plus 280. Because Germany, they've already suffered one major injury with Schlotterbeck, who's going to be out for the tournament. The last thing that they will want is in a dead rubber for them to, fly into tackles too hard, commit too many fouls. You might see a drop in intensity, and it could mean Ecuador winning. But I'm not going to be playing the Ecuador win just because, like you said, that they just can't seem to find a goal. I mean, they will give it a very good go here. They had 27 shots against Curacao, 15 on target, so 15 saves to the Curacao goalkeeper is quite remarkable. But yeah, look, I'll be leaving that one alone. And like you said, the Curacao Ivory Coast one is interesting because Curacao can still qualify. If they beat Ivory Coast, they finish above Ivory Coast, and they probably finish above Ecuador. They probably finish second, but defensively they are terrible. 53 shots, 7 XG conceded over 2 matches. Just counting the lucky stars that they somehow avoided defeat against Ecuador. I can't see the same happening again. But again, I won't be taking anything in that game at all. When the handicap line's set, -2? Could it get a scenario where Ivory Coast
tempting.
Scores? Is it?
It's tempting. Germany put 7 past Curacao, and the World Cup they picked up a point. Like, who would have thought Curacao would have picked up a point in this group? Not me.
Yeah.
Not me. I just Ivory Coast -2. It's -122. I'll still have a small nibble. I look at the goal line in Germany, Ecuador at 2 3/4. This is Ecuador that we're talking about, and Germany will be rotated. Just, I have to play the under here. Like, there's just no way. If Ecuador score early in this game, will there be an intensity by Germany to go get another goal? And will Ecuador be in a position where they're going to push for a second, understanding where their strengths are? It's just under 2 3/4 at -108. It's a cracking play. I'm all over it. So that's it.
I've not checked the referee appointment, but Ecuador, if it's not going their way, they will lose their heads. There's quite a few candidates in there. Who will throw a rash challenge in, mainly Moses Caicedo, who will probably lose his head and pick up a card. So one to keep in mind, and maybe even a red card if things are, if they're losing 1, Germany score again 2, that it could really kick off. South Americans tend to be a bit like that.
Okay. Let's go to Group F. It's Japan and Sweden. I mean, this group is whoever wants to pick on Tunisia seems to do whatever they want to do. Hervé Renard in those tight shirts, it's not the solution. It's Japan, Sweden. Sweden conceded 5 to Netherlands last time out after scoring 5 against Tunisia in their first match. Now they get Japan, who put 4 past Tunisia, and then it's Netherlands and Tunisia in the other Group F fixture. Japan and Netherlands competing for whoever may want to top that group. And there's a preferable draw, at least initially, for whoever finishes first in that group as well. Japan minus 114 to beat Sweden outright. That's a number that catches the eye. 2.25 Netherlands are a favorite on the handicap against Tunisia.
Yeah, I think that is probably a bit of value given what we've seen from Tunisia so far. I mean, Japan carved them open with ease, didn't they, in that second round of fixtures, 4-0. And it does mean, well, now because obviously Sweden and Japan play each other, but it will come down to goal difference if Japan and Netherlands both get the results that are required. But I'm just trying to figure out, just looking at the bracket, like the winner of the group is going to probably face Morocco if they finish second in their group, and the runner-up is going to face Brazil, which it's not an ideal draws, is it, for either? And I'm trying to quickly figure out if someone was to finish third.
Yeah, I'll take that back. Yeah, I misspoke when I said that the winner gets a preferable draw. And beyond that, they're all in the same quarter of the draw as potentially Germany and France as well.
Yeah.
So where's the benefit? What's the play? Second place in the group might be a little bit more preferable. I mean, you play Brazil or Morocco, but you'll know at least.
Yeah. I'd probably rather play Brazil than Morocco at this point.
But right now, we don't know who's going to win that group. No. I mean, it might just be a wait and see. I think at this point, like if there's similar jeopardy, you just probably want to win your games and then let your form dictate. I don't think you can manipulate this. No,
it's going to be difficult to manipulate. Third place would get probably Germany, which again, so whoever you come out of this group, you're going to face a tough game. The only slight advantage is if you finish second, you do play in the air-conditioned Houston Stadium, which may be something that suits Japan, perhaps, with their intensity. But yeah, either way, I didn't have any bets down for this for this group. I mean, I was looking at both teams to score, obviously, in the Sweden-Japan game.
Yeah.
That's another game where the draw at plus 254 is interesting because it guarantees Japan second spot. Sweden get through. I think both will be happy with getting through and with that potential path as well. That was of interest, but that was it for me. I didn't like too much about this. This is the highest scoring group so far as well. It's worth mentioning that the goals might be the way as well.
Thanks to Tunisia. I mean, I looked at both teams to score in over 2.5. It plays a plus 113 for the Japan-Sweden game. I think that Japan, just to win the game outright, they're the better team than Sweden. I think they're going to be, if they play Brazil, like Japan-Morocco would be a brilliant game to watch. Like two very combative teams, two teams with legs, two teams, if they win, I think they can pull off some upsets. But Japan, I like this Japanese team. I just like the way they play, their mentality. They're deep. There's different pieces that work. Small play on Japan at minus 114, but that is it. Let's spin it back to Group C. It's where we go Group D, E, and F, and then we go back to Group C. But it's a home side, the United States, taking on Turkiye, who've taken 61 shots without a goal. And because of this head-to-head rule, like it would be brilliant to see Turkey like really have a go at the United States in a game that matters, but this head-to-head have completely ruled them out. They have the best XG in the group, yet they're playing for nothing in this game. Take it on an American side, rest and rotation, quite a realistic possibility. And Paraguay, Australia, the match that you kind of highlighted about a draw would suit both. Last night, it played at plus 114, the draw. Now it's all the way out at plus 125. Very interesting. Can you explain that, Jake?
I think it's due to the permutations and the potential draw. So if you finish second in the group, you're likely to get Belgium. Should they beat New Zealand and finish second in that group? I think is it, have I got them down as finishing second? Hold on a quick second. Yes. So if Egypt beat Iran, Belgium beat New Zealand, they would finish second. So basically, you're going to play either Egypt or Belgium if you finish as second place in Group D. If you finish third, you're likely to play France or Norway. So there's a big difference in quality. Whether even if Norway win that group, I still would rather play Belgium or Egypt. So there is, I think that's having something to do with the draw price drifting. Is that Paraguay and Australia, like Paraguay in particular, obviously sit third at the moment based on goal difference. Probably looking at this thinking it might be in our best interest to try and get a win here and finish second to get a better round of 32, but then you obviously run the risk of potentially losing to a good counter-attacking team in Australia and then missing out altogether on the round of 32 because your goal difference wouldn't be good enough. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens. I actually thought that the goal line was a bit low in this at 1.75. Now, usually, all of these games that that end as draws, that get backed heavily as draws, they're never 0-0. It's always 1-1. In the sense, like it's always one team goes up early, then the other team equalizes, and then after the last 20 minutes,
and then they just
yeah. It's very rarely 0-0 because that would be serious match fixing. In the case of right, we're not even going to try, like just pass the ball around. 1-1 is more of a at least they had a go, they got in front, and it saves face a little bit more for these kind of scenarios. So either way, whether Paraguay have a go for it. And try and win the game to finish second, or if it is just one of those casual draws, I think the goal line at 1.75 is worth attacking. You get half your stake on over 1.5, half your stake on 2. If it's a 1-1 draw, you get half win. I'll be having a small bet on that.
Okay. I think that no matter what, you still just need to make a play on the draw. Like you have to. I understand that, but neither one of these teams is good enough to go on and take control of a game, in my opinion. Like Paraguay survived by it was like shithousery. After after Almiron was sent off, it was just time wasting to perfection. Like there was no time in play where the game was going. Like, and they're trying to get rid of tactics based on the rules to stall out games and develop anti-football. But that's exactly what it was. So in Australia, I mean, their MO is playing on the counterattack. So, I mean, the draw plus 125, you have to make that play for me. I also, look, like, Turkey is not that bad of a team. It's like the pressure mounted on a lot of these young players, and they just capitulated in front of goal. Like, how many gilt-edged chances did they miss? And if the U.S. rotate, like Tim Ream won't play, I don't think that Chris Richards will play. So basically, they'll change their 2 center backs. They're already not a great defending team. I go on and just back Turkey to score goals. How about over the team total at plus 188 of a goal and a half? Like it could be a game where the U.S. one just put on a show for their fans, get some, get some attacking players involved. Turkey certainly can create chances. So yeah, let's back Turkey and the team total over a goal and a half. I think it's a big old number at plus 188. So I'm betting the number more so than anything else, but the best XG in this group, one of the best in the tournament. So that's not the reason why they've lost. Their goalkeeping situation is shocking, really, really bad. And even in a dead rubber, they're going to look to just do something here, go home with some semblance of their ego or their pride intact. So yeah. That's it. Follow us on X at Pinnacle for betting insights, market updates, strategies, and odd comparisons. Pinnacle Sportsbook on Reddit as well for market updates and direct access to the Pinnacle team. Let's move on to the Friday fixtures. Senegal, Iraq will be at that game in Toronto, and Norway, France to go on and win the group. I apologize to the Norwegians. They've been great fun. I thought the Vikings would be great fun, but they played really well. Yeah, rowing. It's a lot of hard work. So you work off those calories. But I thought I was fading Norway heading into this tournament, but they've been better than advertised. Perhaps also Senegal has been disappointing as well, which has contributed to that. And France have just been predictably brilliant through their first 2 games, and they're the favorite for me to go on and win this tournament outright. What do you make from these 2 games? Senegal obviously need a result in order to progress. Iraq looks like they're making up the numbers. We recommended just to bet on them to pick up 0 points in terms of our futures play podcast, and that looks to be a prediction that's just about going to come true. What do you like in this game, Jake?
Yeah, Senegal on the handicap. This is a pretty chalk one for me. They're in a situation where they're only going to finish with a maximum of 3 points, and they are going to need to finish with at least a 0 goal difference to have any chance of qualifying as a third place team, which means they're going to have to win 3-0. At least 3-0. And look, they look very good and dangerous against France. They obviously scored twice against Norway, created lots of chances. Iraq have been all over the place defensively against both Norway and France. So I think that this is a great opportunity for Senegal to save face, qualify for the next round by winning 3-0. So I think taking the handicap's at -1 3/4. I'm just going to push it up to -2 at +111 to get plus money. So if they win by 2 goals, which I don't think will be enough for them to qualify, then we get our money back. And if they win by 3 or more, we get a full payout at +111. Yeah, the France-Norway game should be a hell of a lot of fun. I don't think either team will be disappointed to finish first or second. I think they'll both back themselves to get a result in the next round. I think goals, both teams scoring over at +113. Obviously, when you get the anytime score prices up, Haaland and Mbappe both to score, I'll be back in that, because neither of these teams are too solid defensively, and both of those players are in absolutely remarkable form. Yeah, I think this could be a bit of a chaotic game, quite a lot of fun, and yeah, like I said, the lack of there's not a lack of jeopardy because obviously they'll want to top the group, but if you top the group, you end up playing potentially Paraguay, which is favourable, but you then would be Germany in the last 16. If you finish second in the group, it's Ivory Coast and then probably Brazil or Japan, which might be more favourable. But either way, it's going to be a fun game, and a lot of people potentially thinking that France might rotate, but I don't. Especially Mbappe, like he's going to have golden boot on his mind, as much as obviously France wanted to have a deep run, and he's going to be up against Haaland there and there on the pitch, who's obviously in great form as well. So I think that this could be, a good game to back.
I wrote in my notes for Norway France, watch for the preferred path, because we're going to have a better indication at that point. Absolutely. Who is where, and that may influence how this plays out, and that may influence maybe making a Norway play on the handicap. At +102, it's 3/4 of a goal. Nothing I can do now. I need to see what the bracket or what the knockout round bracket looks like before I make a play. And same thing as you, Senegal and the handicap, bump it up to 2 makes a whole lot of sense for me. By the way, both teams are scoring over 2.5 at +113 would be the other play in Norway, France. Yes. Okay. Uruguay, Spain is up next. Saudi Arabia and Cape Verde. That's a game where, I think both teams will kind of fancy the draw and the opportunity to potentially go on and qualify for the knockout round. Really interesting group, the way that things have played out with Cape Verde with back-to-back draws. Yes. What do you like here? What's standing out to you?
Yeah, this is one of those it's difficult to kind of pick now, because I have a feeling that by the time Uruguay plays Spain, that we'll know that 3 points and a 0 goal difference would be enough for progression. And that obviously means that a draw for Uruguay would see them advance as a third place team. And that would, I think, all but guarantee Spain top spot unless Cape Verde absolutely thump Saudi Arabia. So I think there could be a scenario where both these teams are happy with a point and they both kind of ease off a little bit at the second half. So yeah, Uruguay +1 on the handicap is one that I'd make now, because it's a bettable range. +103. I think I expected Uruguay to struggle against those two. Well, mainly Cape Verde, because the deep lying block is quite difficult for a high intensity team that play in fast transitions, and they're quite direct. It's quite difficult to break down, as we saw with England against Ghana. against Saudi, it was more to do with the climate and the weather and the fact that it was a really hot day in Miami. It's quite difficult. Whereas against Spain, it's actually probably a favourable matchup. But then I don't think they'll, unless they know that only a win will do. I don't think they'll be going full tilt just in case they get caught by Spain. So that's the way I'd play this one. Is play Uruguay on the handicap, and then it could be a case that by the time we get there, the draw price is just ridiculously short because both teams are quite happy. And then Cape Verde versus Saudi Arabia, again, like Saudi Arabia haven't shown a lot. Let's be honest. Like they scored from a set piece against Uruguay and they got absolutely pummeled for the second half. Spain hammered them in the first half, but I don't know if I can trust Cape Verde to get a win against a team that obviously, that it's going to be a different game state to them, isn't it? Like they played as a deep line block and counter attack. This is going to be completely different. Having said that, Saudi Arabia are in a position where if they go and beat Cape Verde, they qualify for the round of 32 as well. So it could be more open than what we expect, and then it's just who you think's got the most quality in their forward areas, and I've not seen a lot from either.
I think it's going to be, that game could be a lot of fun based upon what's on the line for both teams. I'll back the team that's been there before and played in big games in the World Cup in Saudi Arabia on the handicap at plus 109. I think it should probably be I think Saudi Arabia maybe should be favored, but it's the sweetheart story of Cape Verde. Like, Cape Verde going to come out and play, or are they just going to play in a low block and just try to pick up the point and hope that 3 points is enough for them to move on? Like that's a realistic proposition. And they're going up against a team that is probably contemporary. They're not. They're the favorite going into this game. So I'll take the underdog. It's Saudi Arabia against Cape Verde just on the handicap. If it ends up in a draw, you get your stake back. Belgium. This is just what's a World Cup without Belgium capitulating? Like, this is. It's wild. Belgium might not win the group that features New Zealand, Egypt, and Iran. Wild stuff. They take on New Zealand, probably the poorest team in the group. Is that fair to say? I mean, I'm not quite sure. Like, them and Iran, like, neither offer a lot, but both have probably punched a little bit above their weight so far in this group. Egypt, Iran is the other match. How does this play out? Like, Belgium not winning the group once upon a time was considered unthinkable, and now it's a realistic proposition.
Yeah, they've looked poor, especially in forward areas. They've really struggled. That game against Iran, I know they created.
Lukaku does not look sharp at all.
He looks poor. He looks like a man who's barely played.
He looks done. He looks finished. Like, to be honest.
Yes, and obviously they didn't have Doku for the last game.
Yeah.
Who was absent. He's going to be back for this one, which will make a difference in the forward areas. But yeah, look, New Zealand have shown that they've got goals in them. They've surprised us there. It's like their friendlies were a bit of a rope-a-dope. Like, they got smashed by Haiti, comfortably beat by England, and everyone's thinking, "Oh, these are terrible." And then they've gone and scored 3 goals in 2 group games. I wouldn't be surprised to see them get on the score sheet against Belgium, because Belgium have to go and try and win this game. Like, a point could be enough, but then do they want to risk finishing third if Iran get a point as well and finish ahead of them on goals scored? So I think New Zealand can get on the score sheet, and look, they're in a position where they can qualify too. They'll back themselves to cause an upset, because Belgium's defence is not very good at all. I mean, we saw that with the individual error that led to the red card against Iran. So yeah, I don't have a bet in this one, but I would not be surprised to see Belgium completely knocked out of the tournament after this game.
Egypt on the handicap at minus quarter of a goal to go on and win the group at plus 102 is my play. They're just a better team than Iran. Iran benefited from a really poor Belgian side playing in the heat, and a Belgian side that you said struggle in attack. This Egypt team, difficult to break down. Iran's going to have to go for it, or at least come away with something from this game. Even if it pushes to a draw, it's only a half loss on your stake. So Egypt or a nothing from the 2 games in this group. All right, the Saturday fixtures. Let's fire through.
Just going back to that one, that could be another one where a draw suits both, and the draw price is already short at plus 161. Like, Egypt will probably win the group with 5 points, and Iran probably would advance as a third place team at worst with a 0 goal difference. So it's one of those where there's going to be like 16 or 17 games played by the time they kick off, so you will get a proper feel as to what the third place situation is.
I think Egypt will think that they can win that game, though, and if Belgium's up big on New Zealand, then they're going to have to go and win, because goal differential will be the next tiebreaker. We got to move, but Croatia, Ghana, Panama, England. Look, like games like that, like Carlos Queiroz set his side up to defend. They did so really well. And perhaps you don't play Madueke and Gordon in a game where it's not about speed, trying to get in behind a back line. It's about more technical players breaking it down. I think that's a good learning for Thomas Tuchel in England. Croatia, Ghana. Ghana's already moving on to the next round. Wild. Panama, England is the other game. Panama's going home already.
Yes.
Croatia nothing for me from either one of these fixtures.
No, nothing for me either. But I do think that Croatia will be like really wanting to get a result here. Because if they finish third in the group, they probably play Portugal. And if they finish, I mean, either way, if you finish second or third in this group, you're probably going to end up with Portugal or Colombia, and it might be curtains for either team. So. I'd be potentially looking at backing the unders again though, because Ghana look very well organised. They have a game plan, which is to sit deep and frustrate. And Croatia are a very similar team to England in the sense of, I think they might lack ideas against this deep block. I mean, they did against Panama. They struggled against Panama. But yeah, going back to your England point, I do think that I think there's a little bit of forward thinking from Thomas Tuchel. I think he knows that Saka and Rashford are his best wingers, and I think he's just saving them a little bit for the later rounds, like
particularly Saka. Yeah, for sure.
If they're playing the last half an hour of these opening 3 matches, and then they're playing the opening hour of the knockout rounds, I think you'll see a big difference.
But yeah, Declan Rice was limping, had his leg wrapped, but I won't play against Panama. I'd be surprised you can rotate that a little bit, save up whoever has a knock. It's a good squad, so even when you take a step back, it's not as dramatic as it is for other sides. Colombia, Portugal, which should be a cracking match. Who's going to go on and win that group? Portugal, a significant favorite at -112. DR Congo, Uzbekistan are going home. The game means something to DR Congo. The only bet for me in this one is Colombia on the handicap. Half goal, so a draw or a win is good at -101. They have significant fan support. Every game is like a home game. They look really good, really balanced as well. I think that they can really apply some pressure on Portugal. But I mean, Portugal were really convincing the last game as well. Looks like they've straightened the ship. I just Colombia to win the group, and all they need is a draw. Might be playing for a draw in that one.
Yeah, I agree. And again, not to look too far ahead, but if you finish second in this group, you're going to be in the same bracket, same quarter of the bracket as Spain, which would be a last 16 tie for the winner should they get past the last 32. Whereas the flip side, obviously, I think they'd have a very winnable, like the winner of this group has a very winnable, on paper anyway, last 32 tie and last 16 tie, which, then you get to the quarterfinals and anything can happen. So I do think there's going to be a lot from Colombia to make sure they finish top of this group, because it would be hugely advantageous. But no bet for me in that one. I do like just DR Congo to win the game at -128 against Uzbekistan. They showed, and the defensive resilience against Portugal was very good, but they look very dangerous going forward.
Yeah, they do.
Have good attacking players in Visser and Kambu who can score goals, and we've not seen that from Uzbekistan a whole lot. They were very, very easily rolled over by Portugal. So the DR Congo win at -128, which obviously would get them through to the next round as well.
Let's spend the rest of our couple minutes that we have left on Lionel Messi's group. I mean, it's his tournament. He scored 5 goals already. Unbelievable. He's now turning 39. They take on Jordan. Argentina are already through. The game that a lot of people will be talking about, because I mean it's the final one, and the draw plays at +115, is Algeria and Australia. You touched on it before. It's perhaps worth touching on it again. No plays for me unless you're playing the draw at +115 in that game.
No, this is one that I'd be looking at maybe opposing the draw, because it's a strange scenario where finishing third gives you a better last 32 tie. The second place team is probably going to end up playing Spain in the last 32, whereas the third place team would drop into a tie against Egypt or Belgium, depending on who wins that group. which is much more favourable, really. I mean, they both end up in the same quarter of the bracket, so they would probably end up playing Spain anyway if they got deep enough. But yeah, it depends how. I mean, it depends how far ahead you're looking. But let's just say I don't think Algeria will be going out of the way to win the game. Will we see Austria score an own goal? Maybe. That would be quite amusing. Just 10-10 own goals each. Each team trying to lose it. But yeah, it's there is obviously. Oh no, Argentina have already locked up the group, haven't they? But yeah, it's a no bet from me. I do think the draw is obviously a serious run at plus 115. But
yeah, I just Rangnick and Pekovic, I just can't see either one of them playing this. Maybe more so Pekovic, but rough Rangnick. I can't see it. That's why the draw for me is just, I think it's probably an evenly matched game as well. I like the way that Austria play, but there's an inconsistent level just to the output that just holds me back from backing them. Like, I really like the way that they press and try to play. It's just an incomplete picture every time I see them play. So
yeah, I mean, there is a case to be made that Austria might, like, they know Algeria aren't going to let them lose to finish. Like, Austria could be a bet to win the game at plus 184 and just eliminate Algeria. Yeah, have it over and done with.
Could do.
Because, either way, if Austria lose, they've got a slightly better goal difference, they might end up dropping into that third place spot. It could be a free hit for them.
But you're right. There might be like epic shithousery in this game. Like, it's just depending on where things stand when it comes to the bracket. I mean,
back to the keeper. The keeper's missed it. Oh, no. You could just see that happen. That'd be funny, wouldn't it?
Isn't the goalkeeper for Algeria's name Zidane? Yes. Like, it's like the headbutt. Maybe there's another headbutt from another Zidane. Maybe, yeah. So, yeah. BetSmart, Bet Pinnacle, all the markets that we use are courtesy of Pinnacle. We gotta go. Enjoy the final group stage fixtures. We'll be back Monday with our round of 32 preview. Great stuff from Jake Osgathorpe. I am Gareth Wheeler. This has been episode 102 of Pinnacle FC.